You hear the phrase circular economy, and you probably think of one thing, right? Recycling. But what if I told you that's just the tip of the iceberg? Okay, let's get into this, because what we're really talking about is a radical redesign of our entire economic system. I mean, from the ground up.
So to get why this redesign is so incredibly urgent, let's just start with this one number, 36%. What is that? Well, that's the percentage of all the waste generated in the European Union from just one sector, construction and demolition. That is a mountain of waste from the very buildings we live and work in. So where is all of this coming from? It's coming from this, the linear economy. For about the last century, our system has been, well, incredibly simple, but also unbelievably wasteful. You know the drill. We take resources from the earth, we make things, and when we're done with them, we just throw them away. It's a one-way street that leads straight to a landfill. The circular economy completely flips this model on its head. Instead of that straight line to the dump, it creates a loop. The core idea here is to design waste out of the system from the very beginning, to keep products and materials in use for as long as possible, and this part's crucial, to actually regenerate our natural systems. It's not just about being less bad. The goal is to be actively good. So how does this all work in practice? To make this feel a little more real, let's go back to that 36% problem and look at how we can build a circular future, literally, in the construction industry. And this is where our thinking really gets turned upside down. This is the 10 R's hierarchy. At the very, very top, the highest priority is to refuse, as in, do we even need this product or this building in the first place? Then you get rethink and reduce, and all the way down at the bottom, one of the absolute last resorts, recycle. In a true circular system, recycling is what you do when all the better options have been exhausted. So how does this actually apply to a building? Well, a circular building starts with design for disassembly. Think about using bolts instead of permanent glues so that walls can be taken apart, not just demolished. Then comes reuse, salvaging entire steel beams or window frames and just using them in a new structure. And only then, way down the line, do you recycle, crushing old concrete to use in new concrete. So we see the crucial point is this huge shift in mindset. We have to stop thinking of buildings as permanent, disposable structures and start seeing them as material banks. They're like giant sets of Legos, designed from day one to be taken apart, reconfigured, and given a new life over and over again. And hey, this isn't just theory. Look at this. This is the Bhuwan Town Hall in the Netherlands. It was built with a modular timber frame and reversible connections. The entire structure is designed to be dismantled, and all its components are tracked so they can be easily reused in the future. This is circular design in action, and it proves it can be both beautiful and practical. Now, designing out waste sounds fantastic for the planet, but this transition has these profound ripple effects that go way beyond just materials and buildings. We also have to stop and consider the global human cost. Which leads us to a really critical question. Just because a system is circular, does that automatically make it fair for everyone involved? The data suggests we need to be very, very careful. Let's just take the fashion industry. Research estimates that shifting to a circular model could create about 85,000 new jobs in Europe for things like repair and recycling. Sounds great. But that same exact shift could eliminate over 750,000 jobs in manufacturing countries outside the EU, places that currently depend on our linear, fast fashion consumption. As this research points out, many lower-income countries really depend on both extracting the raw materials we use and then processing the waste we export. So if high-income nations suddenly create these perfect, closed local loops, they risk pulling the rug out from under entire economies that have been built around our linear system. This brings us to a critical idea, the just transition. What this means is that the shift can't just be environmental, it must be just. We have to intentionally design these new circular systems to be equitable, making sure that the benefits and the burdens are shared fairly across the entire globe, not just concentrated in the wealthy nations. So, how do we build a system that's both circular and just? Well, the answer seems to lie in combining innovative business models with some pretty powerful new digital tools. Let's start with a simple question, but one that gets right to the heart of this big shift in thinking. What if you didn't actually own your couch or your washing machine or that power drill you use maybe once a year? This is the idea behind product as a service. You've got companies like IKEA that are testing out furniture leasing,
Claes Olsen lets you rent tools you only need once. A company in the Netherlands called Bundles provides a super high-efficiency washing machine, not as a product you buy, but as a subscription. Now, the company still owns the machine, which means they have every incentive to make it last as long as possible and be easy to repair and refurbish. This completely changes the economic logic from selling more units to providing long-term value. Now, to keep materials in that loop, you need data, a lot of it. And that's where tools like the Material Passport come in. You can think of it like a digital birth certificate for every single component in a building. It tracks exactly what a steel beam is made of, where it came from, and how it can be reused. It's what makes that building as a Lego set concept a reality.
And this is where digitalization is just an absolute game changer. You have tools like BIM, that stands for Building Information Modeling, which create these incredibly detailed 3D models before a single brick is even laid. You combine that with material passports, tracking the resources inside, and suddenly you have the complete toolkit to manage these complex material flows at the scale of an entire city.
Which brings us all the way back to our final central question. The tools and the models, they exist. We know how to design buildings that can be taken apart and materials that can live on forever. But the true challenge is a human one. How do we wield these powerful new ideas to build an economy that regenerates not only our planet, but also provides dignity, opportunity, and justice for everyone on it?